8.4 range is 4. Lock up here.
The arrival of the Progress 84 cargo ship this morning, following its launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, will set the stage for the next major operational activity, that being the departure of the Axiom 2 private astronaut crew from the station next Tuesday, weather permitting, heading for a splashdown off the coast of Florida. Their departure in the Crew Dragon Freedom from the zenith port of the Harmony module of the International Space Station will free that port up for the subsequent launch and docking of SpaceX's Cargo Dragon vehicle that is currently targeted for launch on June 3rd with an arrival on June 5th, carrying to the station supplies and the next pair of IROSA or ISS rollout solar arrays that will be installed next month during a pair of spacewalks by Steve Bowen and Woody Hoberg to augment the power capability on the 1A and 1B power channels on the starboard truss of the International Space Station.
3 kilometers. Negative 8.2. Waiting for the burn.
You are hearing the interpretation of conversations between Station Commander Sergei Prokopiev, who again, along with Dmitry Petelin, inside the Zvezda service module, they would be ready to take over manual flying of the Progress for the docking through a joystick on a control panel called the Toru, or telerobotically operated rendezvous system, in the unlikely event a failure would occur to the Core's automated rendezvous system. So far, Core's is honing in on the station, however, with the distance between Progress and the station now down to about 2.5 kilometers.
So maneuver starts at 18:03. The station is moving to the right, down. Vessel waiting SCAD activation. Copy. SCAD activation. Observing. Copy.
Next step up, coming in the next couple of minutes, will be the activation of the command link between the International Space Station and the Toru system. Again, this is the backup rendezvous system on the Progress, which would be used in the event a problem would occur with the Core's automated rendezvous system. However, Core's is operating normally at this point and is expected to continue operating normally all the way through rendezvous, the terminal phase of today's rendezvous, and docking. Less than 2 kilometers now separating Progress from the International Space Station.
Station's VKU. Station in the center.
And the station now in the field of view, right in the center of the crosshairs, as Progress continues its approach to the station with a closure rate now of just over 4 meters per second.
We'll give you a go for Toru activation. Okay, in work. Toru activated. We are on page 21. Copy. Make sure all keys operate and released. We have checking power PUBPS initial activation. Copy. We have LEDs coming on.
Here in the flight control room at Mission Control in Houston, Flight Director Vincent LaCourte is polling his team of flight controllers here to give a go for docking. That will be relayed shortly to the Russian shift flight director at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow.
For sequential internal and external LEDs indicators coming on. In work, we have 4 of them.
We're about 7 minutes away from the start of the fly-around by Progress. Again, that will align the approaching cargo vehicle with the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the station.
And to neutral, and to the right, 4 sequentially lit up and neutral right now. Now clockwise, we have 4 in neutral back and counterclockwise, sequentially 4 back to neutral. So no issues with test row now. Moving to test route on all channels, sequentially in all axes. Go ahead. We have external and internal back to neutral going up. External, internal back to neutral. To the left. We have external, internal, neutral. To the right. External, internal, back to neutral. Now reverse. External, internal, neutral. Acceleration, external, internal, route test completed, no issues. Copy.
So that report to Sergei Prokopiev on board the International Space Station indicates that the test of the backup rendezvous system has been successful in case it happens to be needed. So far, so good. A flawless approach by Progress since its launch almost 3 hours ago.
So no issues.
We're coming up on the next in the series of so-called impulse burns, thruster firings, that fine-tune the Progress's path to the station. We are now under 1 kilometer distance between Progress and the station, closing at a rate of about 2.7 meters per second.
We have external, internal, back to neutral. Now work on ACS mode also completed. We have 1 marker. Okay, you're breaking up. And now I'm repeating this one. We have 2 markers. ACS mode. Now I'm going 3rd time. We have LEDs on, 3 markers and image nominal. Just make the image comfortable for you. Okay, I turned off ICD mode and markers disappeared. I'm keeping 1 marker active. And the images are just.
And the latest impulse burn reported to be good by our visiting vehicle officer, Adam Faust, here in Mission Control. A great view of the International Space Station from the Progress's external engineering camera. 760 meters now separating progress from its destination, closing at a rate of 2.5 meters per second.
Waiting for fly around and moving to page 22. Moving to page 22, waiting for fly around. So 22 when the fly around starts. Then you start on page 22. Copy.
About 3 minutes away from beginning the fly around of the station. By the progress, this is all automated. The Corps' automated rendezvous system, which is basically a system that bounces navigational information back and forth to a receiving system that is comparable to the transmission system on the Progress. The Progress is the active system. The station's side of the Corps system is the passive system. That navigational information continues to update in the Progress's computers, so it understands the position and its orientation and its direction of travel and closure rate to wind up docking to the right docking port on the station. Less than 500 meters separating Progress from the International Space Station.
Подходит дальность 400, ожидаем.
400 meters range, waiting for fly around.
Есть облет.
We have started.
And flight controllers confirming that the fly around of the station is now underway.
And
again, this maneuver, which is common for approaching vehicles to the Russian segment of the station, will precisely align the forward docking probe on the Progress supply ship to the Poisk module in this case, which is the docking port for this resupply craft.
Velocity is negative 1.1.
The fly around should take just under 10 minutes to complete. That will be followed by a very brief period of station keeping to allow Russian flight controllers to assess the orientation of Progress toward its docking port. .300 meters separating Progress from the International Space Station, now closing at a rate just under 1 meter per second.
Visually, the range is matching 300, and we continue fly around.
And our first view of the Progress itself from cameras on the International Space Station. The station and the Progress flying 260 miles, about to fly almost directly over Casablanca. Prominent in the field of view, the white cylindrical object is the new airlock, new in the sense of its installation, having launched on the STS-132 mission of the Space Shuttle Atlantis years ago. That airlock was installed during a recent Russian spacewalk by Prokopyev and Petelin. 230 meters now separating Progress from the station, continuing its fly around, station keeping just a few minutes away.
About 200 meters range. -0 velocity. Copy, continue. Continue monitoring automatic.
The spacecraft on the left side of the screen in this view from the Progress's cameras is the ISS Progress 83 cargo craft, which has been used for reboost capability of the station and other maneuvers. Docked to the aft end of the Zvezda service module. Prokopyev and Petelin inside the service module, at the ready if necessary, to take over manual control of the flying of the Progress in the unlikely event an issue would occur with the Corps' automated rendezvous system. But Corps is solid at the moment, providing the navigational information for the Progress's computers as it continues its slow approach, methodical approach for docking to Poisk. Docking is still scheduled for approximately 11:20 a.m. Central Time. Around 90 degrees of fly around remaining.
We are back in installation. We are turning off the overlay, turning off AGC mode. Okay, copy. Activating operation. Deactivating AGC mode.
Включаю работу.
Deactivating operation.
Принято.
Copy.
Хорошо станцию наблюдаете?
Are you able to see the station well?
Темновато, конечно.
It's a little dark, actually.
Перед светкой не было ничего видно.
But with AGC mode on, we couldn't see anything at all.
Мне кажется, было лучше.
I think it was better with one marker.
Давайте попробуем сейчас еще раз.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Включили. На работу.
Back to initial and to operation. And one
Мне кажется, так оставим.
for the AGC mode. I think this is better. Okay, we'll leave it.
Inside 200 meters, Progress about to wrap up its fly around and begin a short period of station keeping.
Дальность около 180 метров. Скорость нулевая.
Range rate is 0.
Наблюдаю стыковочный узел МИН-2.
We are monitoring the docking port on RM2.
Принято.
Copy. And range is about 150 meters.
Crossing the border of Croatia and Hungary, Progress, you can see very clearly its thruster firings as it begins to put the brakes on for a short period of station keeping.
Station Moscow on Space to Ground 1.
На связи, дальность около 170, наблюдаем разворот.
Range is 170. We see the roll maneuver has initiated.
Стыковочного узла.
We are approaching the axis for the docking port. And our settings 190921 for the beginning of final approach. Be ready to put in the manual command if needed. Okay, copy.
The roll maneuver reported through the interpreter to Sergei Prokopiev on board the station refers to the positioning of the solar arrays on the Progress vehicle. So it's at the correct orientation for final approach, contact, and capture. It has been just 3 hours and 8 minutes since launch of the Progress from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
Docking port ranges up about 170 meters. The roll maneuver is ongoing.
And station keeping initiated at a range of about 170 meters.
Sergei will go LOS at 1512. There will be an LOS on Space to Ground 1, so a little bit before that, you can go and switch over to UKV, line 2. Okay, we'll switch to UKV.
Ожидаем завершения облета. Дальность.
Standing by for completion of fly around. Ranges 170.
Стыковочный узел чуть выше центра ВТО.
The docking port is a little bit higher than the crosshairs.
Есть. Совершение облета есть, завкон.
Completion of fly around confirmed.
Again, this period of station keeping is usually very, very brief, a few seconds or so, to enable the Russian flight controllers to assess the orientation of the forward docking probe on the progress to the port of call, which is the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the station. The space station and the progress flying over southwestern Russia at an altitude of 260 statute miles.
Moscow station on space to ground 1. Go ahead.
Есть завершение облета.
Fly around is complete. And we are standing by for initiation of final approach. Okay, copy, standing by. Station Moscow, let's put in format 44. I've put in the command. Работа operation is in. I'm putting in format 44. Time is 19:07:47.
And the command has been given for final approach by the Progress to the International Space Station.
Okay, now we're working per page 23. Confirmed, page 23, and range rate is increasing.
We're about 12 minutes away from docking. It's not a precise time. The targeted time is 11:20 a.m. Central, 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time.
Range rate is 0.8. I'm putting in AGC mode.
Progress flying very, very nicely on its automated guidance system.
Range is 140. Negative 0.83 is the range rate. Copy, 3 minutes till eclipse.
That call, we're about 3 minutes away from going into an orbital sunset. That is not a constraint to docking. Just over 100 meters separating Progress from the Poisk module. You see the docking port on Poisk just above the crosshairs.
110. Range rate is negative 0.7. Target is visible. Copy. Sergey, can you verify operation and turn it off for now? Okay, we don't need AGC mode anymore. We are turning off operation. Copy.
The station and Progress now flying 260 miles over northwestern Kazakhstan.
Range is approximately 80 meters. Target is visible.
Дальность 70.
Range is 70, negative 034.
68 meters separating progress from the docking port.
Copy.
Everything continues to go very, very smoothly and has been since the Progress launched atop the Soyuz 2.1A booster
Try to talk
3 hours and 15 minutes ago.
Okay. Going to cover. It's all the same for you. Just press COM line 2. Moscow station on UKV. We hear you loud and clear. Yes, I also. The target is in the center and the target crosshairs are aligned. Okay, copy. Stand by for the message for readiness to inaudible.
We have passed out of range of our tracking and data relay satellite system for just a couple of minutes here. This view over Russian ground stations of the approach of the Progress to the Poisk module, 50 meters now separating Progress from Poisk.
The video is gone. Okay, copy. Range is approximately 46 meters. Copy.
Inside 50 meters, closing at a rate of about 1/10 of a meter per second. That will be the velocity of the Progress at the time of contact and capture.
I see the message is ready. Copy. Inaudible.
The Poisk docking port is now powered on, ready to receive the Progress. Once docking occurs, the relative motion of the two vehicles against one another will dampen out. The docking probe will be retracted to bring the docking surfaces flush against one another, initiating the closing of the hooks to form a hard mate between Progress and the International Space Station.
Two minutes till eclipse. A little bit to the left. Okay, copy, standing by. Range is 30. Range rate is negative 009. Copy, you're go to proceed.
Inside 30 meters now.
I'm putting in the увод разрешен command. Breakout enabled.
The center of this engineering crosshair view should align itself with the diamond-shaped object just underneath the docking port. That basically is a docking target that is used for navigational precision on the final several meters of approach.
Copy, and let's proceed to page 24. That was 15 meters. Target is a little lower than center. Copy. Ready, com. Let's continue automatic docking and final approach.
The docking target clearly in view, almost at the center of the crosshairs, inside 20 meters. Closing at a rate of about 1/10 of a meter per second.
Target crosshairs are aligned. Alignment of target center and center of video monitor. Copy. About 6 meters, about 5 meters, half a square lower than the crosshairs. The target is half a square lower. Ready, com. Copy.
Progress almost home. Standing by for contact and capture.
Range is 3. After contact. Ready, com. Okay, standing by for contact. About half a meter. Contact.
Contact and capture confirmed. Docking confirmed at 11:19 a.m. Central Time, 12:19 a.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station flew 260 miles over China.
A successful docking of the Progress vehicle. Thank you. We also congratulate you. Standing by for a go to deactivate Toru per page 27. But only after retraction. Yes, confirmed. Moscow.
Once again, docking confirmed at 11:19 a.m. Central Time, 12:19 p.m. Eastern Time,
Go ahead on
as
Space
Progress
Ground 1.
and the International Space Station flew 260 miles over China. Docking occurring just 3 hours and 23 minutes after its launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Same here. Standing by for go to deactivate Toru after retraction. Okay, copy. Standing by for retraction.
So at the moment, with docking having been successfully completed, a flawless transit from the launch pad at Baikonur to the Poisk module of the International Space Station, we are awaiting the relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out before the docking probe begins its retraction. And the probe now is retracting. This will pull the two docking surfaces flush against one another, initiating the closing of the hooks to form a hard mate between Progress and the International Space Station. Progress delivering to the station 1,080 pounds of propellant, 88 pounds of nitrogen, 926 pounds of water, and 3,399 pounds of dry cargo, for a total of 2.7 tons of cargo being delivered to the complex and the Expedition 69 crew, which currently is augmented by the 4 private astronauts representing Axiom Space. The hooks are driving closed now, following the retraction of the docking probe. And we now have confirmation of the closing of the hooks, so we have a hard mate between the Progress 84 cargo ship and the International Space Station, culminating a flawless 3-hour-plus journey from the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome. The launch occurred at 7:56 and 7 seconds a.m. Central Time, 5:56 p.m. at the launch site in Baikonur. The Soyuz 2.1A booster that delivered Progress to its preliminary orbit performed without any issues. 8 minutes and 45 seconds after launch, the Progress separated from the third stage of the Soyuz booster, deployed its solar arrays and navigational antennas, and began the chase to catch the International Space Station. A series of thruster firings ensued over the course of the next 2 orbits, or 3 hours, culminating with the docking that you just heard just a couple of minutes ago. Progress edging in and nestling into the Poisk module docking port on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. So that will wrap up our coverage for today. Progress, a perfect journey from launch to docking, delivering 2.7 tons of supplies to the International Space Station. With that, we'll conclude our coverage. We hope you have a great day, and thanks for tuning in. This is Mission Control Houston.